Yes, the thing about it was, of course, that really no one knew who she was unless
Yeah,
they were,
I had
unless
no
they were,
idea.
yeah, unless you were keyed into like old Hollywood movies or West End / Broadway. You had no idea who Dolores Gray was. If you're joining us for part 3 of Silver Nemesis, we're going to count in now after 3. 3, 2, 1.
One of my favourite episodes of Doctor Who, this.
Is it?
I think, this episode,
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this many times over the many years that we shouldn't have been doing this, but this was the first time that you really had a proper action sequence in Doctor Who that I can think of.
Well, yeah, you're probably right, yeah.
Because there just wasn't the space, there wasn't the money or technology to really choreograph such a thing. And I think doing it in a big hangar obviously allowed them a lot of space. So the whole end sequence of this, I think, is just such a lot of fun. And it's well paced, it's exciting. There is some sluggish bits in this episode, but I think by and large yeah, and it has a good end as well. It has a satisfying end to it. And I know a lot of people compare this to Remembrance for obvious reasons, and even the story itself does. But I feel there is a difference in pace here, and there's a difference in how the Doctor works within this. He's far more collected in Remembrance. Well, this is like, it's like he's like on holiday. There's no sense that either he's particularly worried, but there's no sense that this could bring the doom to everything. Okay, there's moments like this. Cyber warships, thousands of them. But ultimately, he's hanging around from branches, sitting against trees, chatting, bit of jazz, bit of wordplay.
The bird impersonation.
Yes. God, that must have been a nice find. I do not live in the world of what should. I always like that line. But you're a good man, Richard. And that line less so. And I am evil.
It's one of those lines that a piece of dialogue or just a sentiment expressed by the person saying it, or even by a third party, and it really kind of underlines or just takes away from the world that's been created, doesn't it? It's a very sort of, it's sub cod. It's not it's very it's not the sort of thing you really want to stumble into.
I find this an odd scene with the Doctor and Ace because I don't feel any reason why Ace should feel scared in this episode compared to what she usually sees.
I think this goes back to the way that the Cybermen dispatched the whoever it was they dispatched earlier on, and she realised that could have been her in the previous episode. Oh yeah, he's blocking it with jazz, isn't he? Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. That's very Doctor.
That is a big... It's weird when you see the size of that boombox and you know what it is. It's just like a tape player, really, with a radio on it and some speakers.
Rarely saw one that size, to be honest with you.
No, it's ridiculous.
I remember wanting one that was quite big, which had detachable speakers.
Yes.
Never got
but
it.
They still had to have leads.
Oh yeah.
They weren't detachable by themselves. People these days,
the
listener who is young will be thinking, "Oh, so you've got like Bluetooth?" Like,
no.
They still had to have leads. The leads wired into the back, and they sort of wrapped round inside. I had one a bit like that.
Oh, look at you!
I like this bit of blocking here, and the choreograph is cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything, because it's a very small space that they're working in there. Ridiculously small, really. I mean, there's just no way. And they have fun with it. The way he's got his hat on the gun and the guy, the other one holding
giving him the umbrella instead of the arrow,
the
the bow. Yeah.
the umbrella Cyberman looks genuinely upset. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's twitching, almost like in. That might be one of the best
Cannot
moments in
compute.
Doctor Who I've seen. Yeah, I cannot compute. Almost like when you get in a sandbox game or something like GTA and there's like a glitch and there's a character which just starts to judder because it doesn't know what to do.
Yes.
Kind of trapped in the environment. That was that Cyberman. It was trapped in the environment.
I like that effect. That's quite good. The model
Yeah.
shot's not so good, but the weather bit is good.
The weather bit's good. The model shot's really sort of like early 80s, 70s vibe. I mean, hats off to the director of this episode. I feel like there's a lot of play with different sort of shot lengths and positioning. It just feels quite. It feels like in every scene there has been some thought about how to actually make this dynamic.
Aside from whatever the point of the skinheads was, every scene does the job of pushing the story along as well.
I just laugh. It's the way he throws the gold dust in this Cyberman's face, and it's just a little me. He's like, "Is it just gold dust, or is it just the fact that someone's just throwing something in your face?" And it's just like, what the hell, mate? What the hell? That's just so uncool.
How rude!
I can't see why you do that. But yeah, no, yeah, you're right. Every scene, apart from the side, the bullies, which I mean does have its purpose to a degree, but fails to do what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
I love this scene as well. And obviously they use this to play into Curse of Fenric
Yes.
with the idea that at this point the Doctor's aware of Fenric and is kind of aware that he's playing a larger game. So where Ace here is sort of saying, well, what is going on here, Doctor? And it's like, well, obviously now we know retrospectively that there's something bigger going on. This upcoming car scene I don't enjoy. It's probably the one that is the slowest of the show.
I was just digging into what Chris Clough does these days. He's moved away from direction into production. He produced the Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
Oh wow, that's a
He's
big
been
win.
keeping busy over the years, yeah. And he's from Harrogate as well, here in Yorkshire.
To people who are not northern, that is pronounced Harrogate. Yeah, I just love this sequence from here. It's just a shame it's punctuated a bit by the terrible car ride.
Ah, yes.
I mean, again, there's just so much little bits I love in this, the nuances. I love how she's sitting at the bus stop waiting patiently, as she would, while he's there trying to thumb a lift. I mean, comes back to John Nathan Turner's love of like celebrity drop-ins and
Yes. The thing about it was, of course, that really no one knew who she was unless
I had no idea.
unless you were keyed into like old Hollywood movies or West End / Broadway. You had no idea who Dolores Gray was.
See, I far prefer this reaction Ace has to the statue to a reaction to the Cybermen. I feel the statue is something which would have her in awe and would be, because that hanging around the Doctor, that would seem something that you would be worried about. Wasn't it something like they only quarters you could only do a certain amount of time, and they did this scene in the car
I think that she was in something at the time.
Yeah.
Yes. She was in Stephen Sondheim's Follies at the Shaftesbury Theatre in 1987. So she was either still in that when they were producing this, or she was still in the country, I would imagine.
I love this scene as well with the Ace and the statue, and you just got the Doctor working in the background. And again, a simple, largely practical effect which works.
Mm.
Yeah. It just feels like, I mean, this to me feels like a scene that shouldn't be in the show, which is added in the special edition
Yes.
in the car. It feels, but this, I love this.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
love these long shots and these the shots of Ace running down. There's, there's a lot of pace here. Then there's these great reactions. And again, it's such a simple effect with a catapult where you don't have to see anything. You just
No.
got to the signal of it being fired and then the explosion. It's really, but it works. Find and destroy her. Classic David Banks Cyberman
Yep.
grasp of the air. And then we go back to this, and it's like this is just a real weird.
Well, I mean, it is the skinheads again, really, isn't it? It doesn't.
It is.
It's not
Absolutely.
adding anything.
It almost feels like they just don't know really what else to do with Pain 4. And while I think they're both quite good characters, there is always a bit of me which wonders, was it a mistake? Is she just an extra element which just doesn't...
Yeah, she doesn't add anything, does it? Does she really?
If you didn't have her, you've still got the Cybermen, you've still
Yeah.
got the Nazis. Do you not have enough? But then, as you say, I mean, again, I love that point of view shot there. I
Yeah.
think that's a lot of fun. Again, I say, this is, I mean, isn't this cool?
Yes,
See,
it
for the
is.
show
It
at the
is.
time, really dynamic in a way the show's never been able to be at this point. I've never quite understood where this is. My brain always thinks that she's back in the castle for some reason. It doesn't feel like part of the same, but he's really playing. I'm feeling he must be the one who had the arrow. No, the umbrella. Sorry, the umbrella.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah. I like this as well. There's a nice bit of break for the tension where she tries to get the coins again and she can't. I think she gets a couple. Meanwhile, the Doctor's totally okay with this. She'll be fine.
She can look after herself.
I love this shot on the gantry. I think this gantry bit is just brilliantly done. I'm not sure it communicates the action perfectly in its outcome, but I love it for the character. I think it's one of the best companion moments where the companion, this is her story. It's not the Doctor's story. This is her story, but she's not dominating the story, and it just gives her such agency. I love the shot of the police box underneath to give height, and then the fact she is absolutely what the children would probably say, and the adults, fucked. She got, and she knows it. So next, who will be next, and who will be lucky? I think that's just such a great moment. Almost like you could episode out on that.
You could.
Shoots at him, ducks, and they shoot each other. It's not massively clear.
No, it needs an extra shot maybe just to
It,
establish who's
yeah,
shooting, like
but I just
a
love it.
above
I
shot.
think
But it is good. Yeah, yeah.
it's just great. And then I also like how he finishes off setting the rockets with his umbrella. I mean, it's just little tiny McCoy touches, which I always find such fun. It's like an alien who's just so above everything that if he didn't add his own little idiosyncrasies, he'd be bored. It's also a bit of a play on Douglas Adams. You know, Douglas Adams, The Hitchhikers, was the old running joke that the one thing you needed around the universe was your towel because it was had multiple functions. A
Yeah.
towel that you couldn't go anywhere without it. And McCoy sort of plays that with his props. His umbrella is like multifunction. It's very rarely do you ever see it use an umbrella. It's something he uses to point, poke, attach, pull. It's his towel.
Yeah.
I love this here. The way he says bow. His face, that's a real sort of angry McCoy you don't tend to see. Now destroy this bow. And I love these Cybermen, they just sound like nerds. Meaningless.
Very chatty as well, aren't they?
What are you going to do about it? I mean, yeah. I mean, I remember there was the Doctor Who 25th anniversary souvenir special magazine around this time.
I think that's what
And
I
one
was
of it,
talking about,
is
possibly.
it the one with the slightly red cover? Or it had lots, there was a
Possibly.
lot, well, it had a bit about this season. And one of the
Yeah.
arguments it had, which I thought was a little unreasonable, but true, that especially for this, the Cybermen have lost a lot of their power. They're just taken out so easily by everything.
Yes.
You think at one point, the only thing that could defeat the Cybermen largely was gravity or, well, gravity, I guess. I suppose there was fire as well, but by and large, they were virtually invincible. By this, rockets, coins, arrows.
Yeah.
And the same for the Daleks. It made the same point about the Daleks in Remembrance that it was weird because I think it's one of those things where at the time people don't see the output in the same ways they do retrospectively. And at the time it was critiqued for like, well, the Daleks are pretty lose their vulnerability in Remembrance and it's a bit confusing. But now, you never hear anyone say that about Remembrance.
No.
We have all the players coming together.
Yeah. But she's lost it, hasn't she? She's completely
Yeah.
Doolally at this point.
Yeah. Nemesis. It's funny 'cause since these two, the Doctor and her, they've not actually met until this point.
No,
Well, they
yeah.
have in the past, but
Yeah.
in the story, 3 episodes, and this is finally where they come face to face. Listen, you old bag. I mean, you got to give the show credit at this point for just trying to
Yeah.
shift its angle. And after 25 years, it's a great point to start to be asking this question. Now, I'd obviously say the new series has probably over-egged it a bit much, but then I think the new series, to some degree, and with no disrespect to it, has been very influenced by American television drama telling, where you drop a mystery, you've got to start revealing the mystery at some point to satisfy that hunger, and I get that. But I think Doctor Who, in its British context, could always exist with just this sort of nod to a past and
Yeah.
nothing more. You don't know much about Gallifrey society. You don't know much about them. You don't know about how their race reproduces, or their history, or their society. I think even when this show did that, it never did the legacy of the Doctor any justice. This sort of approach of sort of seeing almost like facets of the Doctor's world is so much more powerful than when you actually see it, or when you're actually
Yes.
informed about its history. And while I don't mind the timeless child stuff, as I've said before, in a perfect world, I don't think you need it.
You don't know.
But I do prefer it to the IKEA Gallifrey world of the 80s and 70s.
Well, yes. IKEA Gallifrey.
I just think if you want something to feel powerful and beyond our understanding, you don't try and rationalize it.
The only time,
temptation.
yeah, I think really the only time it really works is appearing to be something unusual and different, and other is at the end of the War Games. The rest of the time,
yeah, no, absolutely, I totally agree.
It doesn't really
And
work.
Quite frankly, with the Five Doctors, and again, I understand its rationale to make it about Gallifrey, but you could have done the Five Doctors, and it actually made more sense if it wasn't Time Lords. If the Death Zone was a bit like the War Games.
Yeah.
Another race set up, because it does make no sense why I know we start to sound very nerdy, but the whole point was that the Doctor didn't know what the Daleks were initially, and yet later on Davison's saying that the Daleks were forbidden from being allowed into the Death Zone. It didn't make any sense. It made far more sense for that just not to have been Gallifrey. It all goes back down to that classic rule of show but don't tell. Oh well, yes, this hasn't aged well, got to say. None of that has.
No, not really. No.
You would almost make that these days. That'd be like the most.
It would have been better
attic
just
you
being
had.
on the monitor rather than.
Yeah. You didn't need to see it like that. The Chekhov's gun.
Yep.
Yeah. Or David doing another one of his death performances. And now we feel sorry for him.
Yes. Strange that.
But I kind of like it. I mean, there's a sort of morality is a confusing world, isn't it? It's a relative space to some degree.
Well, there's just that, yeah, and also the 17th century is a very different time, and there's lots of betrayal and distrust across the kingdom. There's a civil war and everything. So,
and how much choices would he have had in his world to have been anything different? But I mean, but in terms of audiences, it's interesting. How unlike in most Doctor Who's, in that sort of situation, you'd have had to redeem yourself through death.
Yeah.
I like the way he actually took that chess set as well. Oh no, it'd have been there, wouldn't it? This would be the same place, so they'd have the chess set from the house. It doesn't work very well. End shot did McCoy well, so he's reused, isn't it? When McCoy's that and him walking out of the circus.
Yes, I've never disliked Silver Nemesis. I've never really got the dislike for it. It's perfectly good. It does exactly what it sets out to do. It entertains, and it has a vague 25th anniversary tie-in because it's silver. I think maybe there's the whole thing that this was the official 25th anniversary story and not Remembrance of the Daleks, which would have made more sense to be the official. But I think it's just this J&T doing promotion. He's got two stories that he can use.
Yeah. He wants to use the Remembrance of the Daleks to kick off buzz for the series. So he wants to put that first.
Yeah.
and then he's got this as for a date, which he's probably aware that most people won't care about.
Yes.
It's not, so it's an acknowledgement to fandom and to the history of the show, but he knows that his winning story for this 25th year, which is the more important sale I think for him than the date, the Daleks are the lead. And
Yeah.
it's interesting. I've just freeze framed it a few moments back of the shot of at the end of them sitting outside the house playing chess, and in the background there is what I think is meant to be castles, but it actually just looks like a load of industrial towers. It's a really weird composite. But yeah, I love it. I mean, it's not the. There's a lot of, I've said this all my life, there's a lot of gems in McCoy's era, which are the ones which people don't consider gems. Yeah. Remember the Daleks, thing's great. Curse of Fenric is amazing. The Hemovores obviously bring it down a bit, but it's still brilliant. Not Happiness Patrol, Ghostlight, obviously. But I think Delta and the Bannermen, I think, is, as I've said before, and me and Brian did the commentary for that, I love that. I think it's, and again, all outside.
Yes.
It looks great. What other ones was I going to think? I mean, I think Survival's still pretty good. There's only a few which I think don't deliver anything, and I think the reason that because they stand out. I just feel like at this point, you really feel the show trying to find new ways of doing itself, and that becomes interesting, even if they're not perfect.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. They all stand out to an extent, especially seasons 25 and 26. There's nothing really humdrum about them, whereas season 24 does have there is a hangover from mid-early 80s.
I mean, as a kid, I quite enjoyed part 3 of Dragonfire. Is that 3-parters? Dragonfire 3-parters? No, it's 4, isn't it?
I think it's 4.
It's 4, yeah. The last part of Dragonfire I quite liked, but again, you're still feeling a little bit of the Baker era in the storytelling, but without the edge that Baker had, so it feels a bit muted, and a bit But Delta and the Bannermen, I think, is great. I think Paradise Towers, aside from the stupid cleaners, and if you can just enjoy Richard Breyer's performance for what it is, there's quite a lot of interesting things going on there.
Yeah.
And as you say, this season is very good. It's not, so you've got Remembrance of the Daleks, Silver Nemesis, Happiness Patrol, and Greatest Show. And I'd say all of them are really interesting, diverse takes on a show which was 25 years old. And I like that. There's not one in that series that I would not rewatch.
No.
I think they're all brilliant and all very different.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Silver Nemesis has got a bit of remembrance, but yeah, great story, Silver Nemesis. I'd really recommend people to rewatch it and just enjoy it for the pacing.
Yes,
and the
definitely.
Slightly unusual storytelling.
100% agree. So if you've watched along with us, let us know if you've got any thoughts about Silver Nemesis. I think everyone's got thoughts about Silver Nemesis, so I'm really interested to hear from you about those. We'll be back with a new podcast for you soon. Until then, it's goodbye from James and myself.